This is how you get through a trauma story. I am right in the middle of a massive, massive, massive trauma story. And I thought I would do a video and share it and share what I've been doing to bring it up, share what I've been doing to see it, share what I'm going to do to help it move on its way, which I'm probably going to do in this video. So if you have trauma, I hope you stay and I hope you watch it. The last week, there's been a festival down the end of my road. Usually, we live on a mountaintop, it's a dirt road. Usually, nobody drives down this road. We have maybe 5 cars a week if we're lucky. And the last week, we've probably had closer to 10,000 cars, which is insane. It's a dirt road, so that's 10,000 cars of dirt and dust ending up in everything in our house. And I have had this pain in my chest all week and it hasn't stopped. It has been freaking relentless. And I've talked about it. I've done a video about it the other day. And I've been doing everything. I've been surrendering it. I have been listening to it. I have been focusing on it. I've been feeling it. I've been sitting with it. I've been sending emails. I've been sending angry emails. I have been doing just about everything that I was brought into my awareness to do, right? It's not everything I could think of doing, that's what I was going to say, but it's everything that was put in front of me to do this week, I have done. And the pain this morning was still there. And it's on the back end of yesterday. I had a friend over who is just learning about her trauma, is just coming to understand about her trauma. And it was 5 hours of me showing her as she shared story after or experience after experience after experience of me sharing with her how that is trauma and how that relates to other areas in her life. So it was a lot of putting pieces together for her so she could see how the trauma is actually creating her entire reality. It was a massive call. It was lots of channeling for me. There was lots of connecting. It was a lots of downloads. It was, and I haven't done anything like that to that capacity for a really long time. And I felt amazing afterwards. I felt amazing after having her here, but then I could start to feel that my nervous system was really starting to feel frazzled and really starting to feel a bit fried. So I put it down to that. And then about 10 o'clock last night, I woke up after falling asleep with my daughter at around 7:30 and I was wide awake and there was car after car after car after car going past the house. It was just an onslaught of cars from, it was gone all night from when I woke up 10 o'clock until about 3 o'clock this morning when I finally fell back to sleep again. It was just a constant onslaught of cars. And so, and when I woke up this morning, this pain was just my physical body, I couldn't move. This pain in my chest was so deep and so dark, and it was so hurt and so sad. And I kept thinking about sending the organizers an email, sending them an email saying, you don't care about me. You don't care about the fact that I have chronic PTSD and CPTSD, and you don't care that this is impacting my life, it's impacting my home. I can't function. I can't function today on after the onslaught of all of these cars. Like, there was all this ego outside. Blame the external, blame the external, blame the external, hold the external accountable. How can I change the external? How can I make the external world change to make my internal world feel better? Because I was feeling really, really, really bad. And then, beautiful gift from universe, higher self, God, whatever you would like to call it. I heard if you listen to us, we will help you come out the other side of this. Just follow what we tell you to do. And I went, okay. And then I heard, you're focusing on the feeling. You're sitting here and you're focusing on the feeling. You're sitting here looking at the feeling and you're listening to all the stories and you're listening to all the different ways the ego is trying to fix the feeling. And what you're doing is just making the feeling bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and louder and louder. And it was getting louder and louder. And so then I heard, look at your solar plexus. So then I closed my eyes and I was breathing and I looked at my solar plexus. And then I heard, and the pain eased. And then I heard, now look at your heart. And so I sat there and I looked at my heart and the pain got bigger. And they said, no, you're looking at the pain, look at your heart. So then I tried to look at my heart and I was looking around, trying to find my heart, and I was feeling the pain. And they said, okay, you keep looking at the pain when you're looking at your heart. So stop looking at the pain. Let's look at your crown. So then I sat and I closed my eyes and I looked at my crown and I was breathing while internally I'm looking at my crown. And I was breathing and the pain dissipated. And then I heard, now look at your toe. And I looked down at my toe. And while I was doing this, I was saying, thank you for the healing. Thank you for this feeling. Thank you for this healing. Thank you for this feeling. And I kept breathing that in. Thank you for this healing. Thank you for this feeling. While I was hearing which different parts to look at. And I said, look at your knees. So I looked at my knees. And then the cars were still coming. They're still coming. In the 5 minutes I've been doing this video, there's been maybe 10 cars drive past, like they're still coming. And then I heard, put something on. Just put some noise to drown out the music. So then I found this beautiful music. It was really lovely. And I put that on and I turned it up loud and I heard, okay, now focus on your third eye. Focus on your crown. Now focus on your solar plexus. Now focus on your sacral. Focus on your perineum. Your base is your perineum. Now focus on your feet. Now focus beyond your feet into the earth. Now focus beyond your crown up into the atmosphere. Now focus on creation. Now go as high as you can and focus on creation. And I focused on creation. And then I heard this very tiny voice from inside of me going, they don't care. I'm not going to get through this without crying. The voice said, they don't care about me. And it just kept saying, they don't care about me. And I heard, the pain isn't about the cars. It's about what the cars represent, which is every time a car drives past, it means the organizers don't care about me. They don't care about the impact that they're having on me. They don't care about the impact that they're having on my life. They don't care about the impact that it's having on our home, on our space, on our safe space. And then I kept breathing. And then I got to the actual trauma. Which was, my mum and my dad didn't care about me enough to stop my sister from doing what she did. And I've carried this pain because she's still doing it. And no one in my family cares. I have carried this pain since I was 12. And I'm turning 50 this year. It's a long time to carry pain. But I have carried this pain of this poor soul, this poor part of me that has had this voice for my entire life that says they didn't care enough about me to stop her from hurting me. They let her do it. They even joined in. They enabled it. They blamed me for it. They made it seem like I was the reason she was doing what she was doing to me. They made it out like it was my fault. And instead of making her stop, they sacrificed me. And this poor part inside of me, this poor little 12-year-old, it has been saying all of this time, why doesn't anyone care? Why doesn't anyone care about me? And so I keep attracting people in my life, friends, partners, who don't care about me. They don't they don't care. They don't care how their words impact me. Sorry. It's only to wipe my nose. They don't care about me. They don't care about how what they do impacts me. They don't care about how I feel. They don't care about me. And the cars driving past constantly has been just this ongoing reminder that no one cares about me. And then it reminds me that when my daughter turned 3 and my mum was dying, my mum died 2 weeks after my daughter was 3. My two closest friends left, ended their friendship with me 2 weeks before she died because I wasn't who they wanted me to be. I wasn't me. I've been watching my mum die for 2.5 years. And my mum raised me to see her as my foundation, to see her as my it was an extremely codependent, like extreme codependent. I couldn't make decisions without her. I couldn't function without her. I couldn't make money. She gave me money all the time. I couldn't make money. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't live without her. And so you can imagine what life was like when she died. Um, it was a really toxic victim. Her martyr made me into a massive victim, so I relied on her for everything. And when she was 2 weeks away from dying, my two friends said they don't want anything to do with me anymore. I was too controlling. I was too hard to be around. And no one can understand what it feels like to lose the person that was made to be your foundation. I wasn't raised with a foundation. I wasn't raised with a mother who loved me or a father who loved me. I was raised with two people who really didn't like me very much. And so they didn't create any stability for me. They didn't create any safety for me. So growing up, my safety, even though my mum, because I lived with my mum, she was my only safety. Even though it was really bad, toxic relationship. She was my safety net. She was my foundation. And so when I found out she was dying, my foundation started to crumble. And when she was 2 weeks away from dying and she had jaundice and we all knew she was going to die really soon, my foundation just disappeared. And along with it, so did my only two friends. And so I went through my mum dying on my own. I didn't have anyone. I didn't have any family. I didn't have any friends. And I had a 3-year-old. And later on, a friend of one of these friends, like years later, 5 or 6 years later, I reached out to her for some reason. I had to reach out to her. And it turned out her mum and her son were both dying. Um, and she said to me that she was so sorry because we talked about it. And I said, you abandoned me when I needed you the most. And she said, I know, I'm so sorry. I didn't understand. I didn't understand what you were going through. I couldn't understand why you were the way you were, why you were behaving the way you were behaving. She said, I get it now. She said, I don't know how did you do it on your own? She said, I have family, I have all these people around me. How did you do it by yourself with the 3-year-old? I said, what choice did I have? And so I have this sea of people who abandon me, who don't care about me because of this one moment in time when my mom and my dad decided to look at my sister and look at her behavior and then look at me and say, yeah, that's your fault. You did that. I was 12, right? I was 12. And to fill you in, she moved out to live with my dad when I was 12 and stopped talking to me and hasn't spoken to me since. Except one time when she called me when I was in my early 20s. It's like 21, something like that. No, it must have been about 23, 24. So when she left, that's right. So when I was about 24, 25, she called. She was doing this landmark thing. And part of landmark is that you have to call the person that hurt you the most. And she had it in her brain that it was me. And so she, at 12, like what the freaking heck could I have done? Anyway, she picked up the phone and called me, and we had a very big conversation. And she actually admitted, and she apologized to me. And she said, it was never you. It's not your fault. It was always mum. It was always mum. I couldn't handle mum. And we had this amazing conversation. I said, great, can we catch up? Can we reconnect? Can we get back together? Can we become friends? Can we build a relationship? And she said, absolutely, I'd love to do that. And so then a couple of days later, I sent her an email, and she never replied, and she never spoke to me again after that. That was it, until my mum died. And she was horrible to me when my mum died. She demanded more money. She demanded that she got, I don't know, more than what she was supposed to get. And so I've held on to this knowing that she, and I never told mum. I never told mum or dad about that phone call. I never said, it wasn't me. This wasn't my fault. You have to make her stop. I never did that. I never said, I never asked. I never asked why I did that. Why they made it about me. Why they blamed me at 12. I never asked my mum or my dad. And now they're both gone, and now I don't know why. And I guess I will never know why they did that. Why did they sacrifice me? Why was I so unlovable? Why couldn't they care about me? And so, oh my God, I didn't know I was going here. I have walked about this earth for the last 38 years of my life with this pain inside of me going, why don't you love me? What did I do that made me so unlovable? And I'm never going to have the answer because they're both dead. I'm never going to know why they did what they did. I'm never going to know why I was so unlovable to them. I can guess. I was born on the 14th of November, and 9 months before that was the 14th of February. So my guess is that I was a Valentine's Day baby. And my dad had an affair while he was pregnant with me, while my mum was pregnant with me. And so my guess is that I was never wanted, that I was never part of the plan, that they were happy with one. And then they did the obligatory Valentine's Day shag. And here I am. And I just don't think I was ever really wanted. I actually think I was quite resented. And I get why my sister hates me. It's not because of anything I did when I was 12. Now that I understand what I understand about trauma, for the first 2.5 years of her life, she had my mum and my dad. And life was fantastic and life was wonderful. And, she was 2.5. Life was bliss. She had a mum and a dad. She had all the attention. My mum, I don't think, went back to work for a long time after she gave birth to my sister. She had like a year-long maternity leave. She was with my sister all the time. And then the day I came home from the hospital, my mum and my dad had just moved into the new house, a new house. It was filled with boxes. My dad, while my mum was in the hospital, giving birth with me was supposed to have the house sorted. My mom was in hospital for 6 weeks for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. But my dad was supposed to have emptied all the boxes and set everything up. And my mum came home and she got out of the cab because my dad was apparently at work when I was born. And she walked into the house and nothing had been unpacked. And my dad had left. She didn't even have there was no bed for me. He hadn't set up her bed. Like, he'd done nothing. I got all this from my grandma. And because he had done nothing and nothing was set up, I guess my sister saw, sorry, excuse me. I guess my sister saw, here's this tiny little human who has suddenly appeared in my life. And at 2.5, she's gone, my daddy left. And now my mummy's crying all the time. And she's sad and she's angry and she's mad. And everything about my life has completely changed. And you're the reason why. And I think that's why my sister just harbors this resentment to me that doesn't make sense to anyone. Like, it's this deep core. She just physically cannot talk to me. I don't know why it got triggered off when I was 12 and she was 15. I think the trigger was because she was going through a lot of physical bullying at school. And obviously you internalize all of that, and then you blame something in your external world that makes sense. And because I was that initial deep trauma that was never acknowledged, she's 2.5. How do you acknowledge to a 2.5-year-old that they're going through trauma? She's just moved the hate. So maybe instead of hating herself or hating my mum and my dad or hating the people that were bullying her, she looked at me, and that 2.5-year-old inside of her went, you're the cause of all my problems. And so I became the cause of all of her problems. And we have no power to do anything about the external world. I can't stop her from being who she is. I can't stop her from doing this. I can't make my mum and dad do anything about it. I remember I did say something to mum a few times and asked her if she could stop her. And she said, no, I don't want to get involved. This is none of my business. It's about you two. You two sort it out. That was her solution. You two go and sort it out. It's like, sort out what? Oh, my mum and her parenting. I don't know where to go from here. I have the pain. Cars are still driving past. My mum is never going to love me. My dad is never going to love me. My sister is never going to love me. No one in my family is ever going to love me, like me, actually me. And I don't know, maybe I will go through the rest of my life with no one ever loving me or never knowing what love is, because I don't know. I at the moment cannot see a resolution to this because there's no one that I can ask about it. There's no one that I can get understanding. There's no one that I can speak to. Maybe I don't have to. So that's me. That's my deep trauma, my deep, deep trauma. And I guess it's doing exactly what I did this morning, is because I just heard you said you would share how you were going to deal with this. It's like, yeah, fair point. I did. For me to deal with this, it's doing exactly what I did this morning. It is spending time focusing on different parts of my body, saying, thank you for this healing. Thank you for this feeling. It's also focusing on the pain, saying, thank you for this healing. Thank you for this feeling. It's also seeing a version of me that is so beautiful and so loved because I love myself. And that love that I have for myself is bringing in people who love me genuinely, love me for who I am, for how I am. And it's really sitting with that. So it's not trying to squash the feeling or get rid of the feeling or ignore the feeling. The feeling's here. Like the pain is genuine. It's here. It hurts. It's horrible. It's deep. It is deep, deep pain. But now I know why it's there. I know it's because there's a part of me that does not understand why I was not loved, does not understand why I was not lovable, does not understand why no one protected me, no one saved me, no one cared about me, no one cared about what was happening to me. When I wanted to leave school because I was getting bullied, my mum had a massive go at me and said I should just stay there. When my sister got bullied at school, my mum and my dad moved heaven and earth to protect her from that bullying. They didn't protect me from the bullying at school. They didn't protect me from my sister bullying me. And 100% to this day, everyone believes that it was my fault. I remember I used to not be allowed to go to events because she was there, because it made the family too uncomfortable. I was not welcome at my dad's house for a long time. I was never welcome when people were over. My stepmom was too embarrassed by me and I guess my behavior and how my sister was towards me. And yeah, my stepmom was repulsed by me. It's nice, isn't it? My dad attracts another person, another mothering person who is repulsed by me. It got to the point where she didn't want me around her family at all, ever. Sorry, there's lots of ums in this video. I think for now, that's kind of the best I have is I thank you for this feeling. I thank you for this healing. Seeing a version of me that is healed, seeing a version of me that is loved, seeing a version of me that is beautiful. Instead of seeing this version of me that I think is ugly, seeing this version of me that is beautiful. And breathing into the pain, breathing into different parts of my body, allowing the hurt when it comes up, to feel it, to cry, to share with you the hurt and the pain. And for right now, because it's so raw and so real, do what I do, which is taking it one moment at a time. When I'm in these really raw places, I don't go, I'm going to do this today. It's what can I do right now? And so then I do that. And then another couple of minutes later, it's what can I do now? So I do that. It's moment to moment healing for me. I mean, this is the deepest hurt I think I've ever felt. And I can feel that I can't just go, okay, I'm going to go outside and mow the lawn today. I'm going to go outside and do something big today. I'm going to go outside and plant out all the pot plants and put them in the garden. It's no, I'm not. What can I do right now? Okay, I'll do that. Once I've done that, what can I do right now? Okay, I'll do that. Doesn't mean it won't include mowing the lawn, but it means that when I'm in these vulnerable places where I'm really hurting and I'm really fragile, it's not about making big plans. It's not about sitting down and affirming 1,000 times, I love me, I love me, I love me, and sitting in front of a mirror, I love me, I love me, I love me. It's not that for me. I can't do that when I'm vulnerable and fragile. It is taking a moment to close my eyes and go, okay, what can I do right now? What do you need right now? And then hearing whatever that is and doing it. Because the fragileness is real. Like it's real. I'm sitting here and the wound is wide open. It's like a gaping, seeping, pus-filled wound. And it needs time. It needs time to heal. It needs time to, it just needs time to heal. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share. I apologize if this has been really hard to watch. It was really hard to share. Anyway, I'm going to sit with the pain. Bye for now.